Alrighty everyone, so welcome to this video. Basically the whole point of this video is to raise awareness on why reading is so important for the young mind. Not just for the young mind, but also for already developed minds and the benefits of it. Because I'm not sure how all of you feel, but me personally, I believe that and feel that reading has just become so obsolete in today's world. A lot of people want to watch videos, they want to hear quick snippets on Instagram or Twitter or anything of the sort. But reading a novel or a book or an article is so important and so imperative to our brain functioning. So in this video, I'll post a link in the description of the video on my YouTube channel. But there's this research paper that I read, and it talks about how reading used to be considered just as straight. I forget how they mention it. Let me go pull it up right now. Was a straight forward graph to sound decoding mechanism, but now we know after research it consists of sub-processes that take place in different areas and pathways of both hemispheres of the brain. And so, with that in mind, after years of research, and this research paper goes really in depth, and so I encourage everyone to go read it. We've come to find out that your brain is so interconnected when you're reading. And so it's not just, you see the letter or the word and you process it. There's a bunch of other linguistic functions. Here, let me read a couple just to name a few. And I'll have this pulled up. So here's what it says. Those sub-processes are not isolated from each other. They can take place in parallel and modulate each other. Neurologically, reading is part of the general language perception and processing that begins with letter recognition and word identification processing in the visual cortex and extends to morphosyntactic, syntactic, semantic, syntactic, thematic, and discourse processing. The process includes such components of reading skills as vocabulary skills, grammatical skills, and rhetorical skills. Nonverbal cognitive processing, which involves the interconnectivities of attention, learning processes, memory, and inferential procedures, and emotion. It also begins with paying attention to letters and continues with automaticity in reading and critical and interpretive reading. And so, reading just encompasses a whole lot more than just, looking at a word or a letter and, knowing its meaning to be able to figure out what or being able to comprehend what you're reading. And so, like it says, this paper, that the process of reading includes components such as vocabulary skills, grammatical skills, and rhetorical skills. It also involves attention, memory, inferential procedures, paying attention to letters. And so reading just takes all those things and, puts them all together. And so another article that I read that I don't have the link and I won't be able to post it. I can't remember. I read it a while ago. But reading is great in keeping or in preserving your longevity, I guess you could say. And so it hasn't been proven that it'll prevent the diseases such as Alzheimer's or dementia, but other studies that have been conducted have shown that people who stay active their whole lives, physically speaking and mentally speaking, like solving puzzles or Sudoku or doing stuff like that on a daily basis, are proven have stronger brain and cognitive processes the older they get. And so reading isn't just important for developing the skills, it's also important for preserving the skills and preserving your mental health as you get older. And so that is why I'm trying to raise awareness for reading. What I'm doing it's a variety of things. I've created a podcast already. I already had a podcast, but I did an episode where we talk about reading and its importance. Basically, what I'm doing here. I have published a blog post about reading and its importance. And the link to this one research paper that I read that I based everything off of is all in there, all in those descriptions. That's why I'm creating this YouTube video, to try and reach as many people as I can on the importance of reading. It's not something that should be overlooked in young kids' lives, in teenagers, young adults, parents, old adults. Reading is something that it's a movement that everybody should get behind. I'm trying to encourage people to get off social media, get off watching the videos, reading, the captions. That don't take a whole lot of ability to do so, but actually dive into a book and read it. And I don't necessarily need to be a book, like an old-fashioned book like this, or one of my favorites, To Kill a Mockingbird, that I'm reading right now. But, you can read an article, an educational article, something that just is going to make you strengthen. It's going to strengthen all those processes that were talked about in this paper. And so, one of the biggest things that I think reading really helps us with is our critical thinking skills. It's something that, a skill that has been lost, not entirely, but I feel like a lot of people, and sounds like a very generalization, a very big generalization, but I feel just like critical thinking is one of the skills that is diminishing in today's world. But when you read a book, critical thinking takes place all the time. You're trying to figure out the plot. You're trying to remember what happened, when and where it happened. You're trying to remember certain characters. These processes that involve you to think and use your brain power. If it's a mystery, you're trying to solve the mystery before you actually get to that part in the book. You're trying to figure out, you're trying to predict what happens, and you're using your critical thinking skills in order to make those assumptions. And that translates into the real world, where a lot of people, I'm sorry for making this big generalization, but people are losing that skill. And, it's kind of showing in today's world, where our educational scores are dropping, test scores are dropping. You see it in social media, just some of the basis claims that people make in the news, some of the things people say on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And that's why reading is so important. You use your critical thinking skills, I believe, in order to better your life and the lives of others around you. And it just makes it a lot easier for you to process what is going on around you. And so, anyway, that was kind of a tangent there, but yeah, the whole point of this video is to raise awareness of how important reading is and how it shouldn't be overlooked. In a different podcast episode that I did, I talked about 5 benefits of reading, and one of them is that, just for me personally, this is more anecdotal than empirical data or a story, but reading just really helps me deal with stress. You dive into a good book, such a book like To Kill a Mockingbird, and you just get lost in the plot and the characters and what's going on, that you almost seem to forget about your problems for a little bit. And, reading won't make your problems go away, but it can calm you down so that way you're better able to evaluate your problems or your temptations or your trials that you're going through. And then from there forward, you can, have a clear conscience, clear mind in order to tackle those problems. And so for me, that's a big, big thing for why I love to read. And other than that, it's a great way to self-help yourself. To give yourself some self-help. Reading will help you. If you read self-help books or self-improvement books, it can help you solve problems that you're actually dealing with. It just helps you become a more well-rounded person. And so, I hope this has been helpful to you. I'm trying to figure out better ways to articulate myself on the subject. I'm trying to do some more research myself, and seeing how we can get more people to become involved with reading, and to help them better their grammatical skills, their vocabulary skills, their reading skills, all these processes that take place inside your brain. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. The link to the paper that I was reading off of will be linked in the description, and you can go read it yourself from there. So thank you, and have a good day.